You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. It's all things coffee, culinary, and culture.
This coffee festival is absolutely phenomenal. It is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
We have some coffee product infusion with coffee fried dumpling, coffee bame. We have coffee rice and peas, roast fish.
I've been to festivals in other countries and it's world class. I like the quality, I like what I'm seeing.
Everything today was great and I'm looking forward to it for next year.
It's the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, and BATV is here to bring you highlights from day 2 of a 3-day event which is already off to a great start at promoting the world's best music, food and coffee right here in the cool hills of Newcastle in St. Andrew. I'm your host, Andrew Laidley, and I'll have the highlights, so stay with us. Much more after this.
Welcome to my constituency, Mikasa Sukasa. All right. Now, as you can see, this coffee festival is absolutely phenomenal. It is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year. We made sure that the roads, well, they told us the Queen was coming. They didn't realize it was the coffee festival that was coming. The roads are wonderful all the way up to red light. And by the time we come back here next year, we will have beautiful roads all the way to Newcastle to ensure that your experience is fabulous. Minister, I have to thank you. I have to thank the Ministry of Tourism for that particular insight in understanding that for the coffee farmers to do well, we have to move from just thinking about coffee as a drink. We have found the man who understands networking, tourism, and marketing a product that we want to move from just being our wonderful Blue Mountain coffee to the legendary Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee.
Coffee, as you know, is the second most consumed liquid on earth. More than 70 countries across the world utilize coffee for various applications. We in Jamaica seem to have locked ourselves into coffee for export. But there are so many other applications, economic value that we can derive from the use of coffee in so many forms. This morning I read that coffee, in fact, can make flour. So you can make coffee now, coffee cake, of course, which you all know about. But you can make your coffee cookies that you all know about. But now you can make coffee dumpling. The point we're making is that there are numerous other applications. It is now possible for us to create a huge coffee value chain, and from it, the coffee cottage industries. So that exhibitions like these, which we're promoting, and we're doing it with a lot of energy, is not going to provide a showcase of coffee beverage and an opportunity for tasting and for the world to recognize, in fact, that we have the best coffee in the world. But it's also an opportunity for us to create a value chain that will bring jobs and more economic well-being to a larger number of our Jamaican people who are in the interior and who, because of where they live, lacking in urbanity as it exists, still have the opportunity to generate income and to stem the drift from the rural areas into the urban areas seeking jobs. So tourism is that centerpiece that drives jobs and inclusive growth. And part of what we're doing is to create a strategy that not only brings visitors to our shore, but to enable the expenditure from visitor arrivals to remain in the destination of Jamaica. Jamaica now has a retention of only 30 cents in the dollar, although that is 10 cents higher than the rest of the Caribbean, and only 20 cents below that of the highest performer in the region, the Dominican Republic. But we must build out that capability because that's how we're going to be wealthy from tourism. Finally, I want to say, located as we are here, and this Newcastle is a perfect place for it to be.
So I'm here with Adam Stewart. He's the chairman of the Tourism Linkages Network. Talk to me a little bit about the inaugural Blue Mountain Coffee Festival that's happening here today.
It's kind of hard to beat this, right? So we decided when we're going to do this, we're going to celebrate the best attributes of Jamaica, what Jamaica is naturally good at. You know, Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee is something that we almost take for granted in many instances. It's voted world's best as the highest grade coffee, celebrated all around the world. And what we wanted to do was find a way to expand the image of the Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. So locally to Jamaican citizens, so we create more of a coffee culture in the country of Jamaica. To the purchasing teams in, you know, the network is a division of the Ministry of Tourism. So all of the purchasing divisions of the hotels across the country, so that we're getting Blue Mountain Coffee in the hands, whether it's in the suitcases in the exported coffee that they take home, or they're tasting it in the hotels themselves. The idea was to put on a festival that everybody could come to. I have about 50 people here from Sandals, and it's amazing. Every single one of my team members that I've asked so far, if they've been up here to the JDF camp up in the Blue Mountains, not one has said yes. So we live in Jamaica. There are things about Jamaica that we don't even explore as yet, and they're having the time of their life. So you have the vendors here showcasing all of their products: coffee scrubs, coffee candles, coffee infused products that you put on your skin, the actual coffee cakes. We had a coffee dumpling a while ago, a flour dumpling, coffee rice and peas. I never seen that yet in my life. And these are wares that the ultimate goal here is that people are trading, people are selling, our visitors are feeling it. So we get them into the hotel, they enjoy it, they go back home, they go on the website, and we just start exporting products out of Jamaica in a way that, you know, we think of coffee as just a drink, but it is so much more than a drink and can become so much more than a drink.
Now, I know that outside of your role as chairman in the Linkages Network, you are also a member of the private sector here in Jamaica. How important would you say it is that private sector members come on to projects like this and really encourage it?
Well, private sector is what drives the economy, and that's what we have to remember, right? So the government puts a framework around policy, but it is actually the private sector trading that, you know, gets the economic dollars turning, spins off the taxation, which, you know, allows us to do all of our infrastructure and investments for the country. So, you know, without private sector, there are no economics. Without economics, people can't afford to live, and they can't afford to, you know, to rise to the prosperity that we're trying, all of us in our own way, to get Jamaica to rise and matriculate to a higher standard of living. So, you know, the message here today is simply trade, do business, formalize yourself into the tax net for sure, and just get business flowing in a way that people naturally fall in love. The interesting thing is that the product that it is that we're talking about is something people naturally love when they're exposed to it. Either whether they're drinking the coffee, or they're putting the scrubs on themselves, or you're smelling the candles. These are all things that immediately you look at somebody's face and you don't have to sell it to them. They love it as it is. So we're just showcasing it, marketing it, and then hopefully trade comes behind that.
We take a break and come back with much more from the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. Stay with us.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now here's more highlights from the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. I'm now joined by Minister of Tourism, Edmund Bartlett. Minister, it's the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. Talk to me about the plans that went into this festival.
Well, first of all, the notion of a coffee festival flows from the fact of utilizing our cultural assets as a means to drive visitor arrivals into our country. But it also goes to a deeper value of bringing to the forefront of the consciousness of all of us as Jamaicans the power and the value of these cultural assets and the extent to which we have not been utilizing them sufficiently to bring economic value to ourselves and to cause the prosperity to come. And so this festival is therefore an intention for us to celebrate all things coffee, for us to look at what coffee is really capable of doing, the deep and wide value chain of coffee, that it is not just an export crop, a commodity for value added to be attached to another country somewhere else, but that it is a part of an asset with enormous capability for spin-offs. That there are so many applications to coffee that if we get it right, we can develop a whole industry around coffee.
Minister, I understand that the government has started an Eat Jamaica campaign. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, you know, the Eat Jamaica campaign has been on and on and on and on. And we have to do something more practical, like producing enough to be able to eat. But part of what we need to also do is to change our consumption patterns. Because Jamaica's staple is still imported goods, rice and flour and grains. So we need to look seriously at our consumption patterns, because that's a big way in which Eat Jamaica is going to be truly meaningful, is when we are having a taste for Jamaican goods and Jamaican assets.
Minister, I want to talk to you a little bit about what happened last year with Jamaica losing what was regarded as one of its major trading partners. I believe it was Japan. Are we shoring up the sector now by having a festival like this?
Well, no. Well, look, the global market has changed, and we have to respond to it. And one of the things that keeps you on the cutting edge is nimbleness and adaptable. You have to be adaptive, because the market is going to change because it's a function of human action. And so we have to be always doing more with what we have so that we can be ahead of the curve every time there's a change. So now we need to look at how we can make coffee far more effective on the market for us, not just now as beans that we produce for another country to process, but how do we do the conversion ourselves and then to enable the other applications which will deepen and broaden the value chain.
Talk to me about some of the preparation that went into this.
Well, it was quite exciting to have this. You know, we really wanted to have it here in the Blue Mountain. So we partnered with Newcastle. I mean, it's quintessential Blue Mountain. We work with all the partners, both those on the other side close to the Garden Town as well as those on the Newcastle side, and really just decided to showcase everything coffee, but also to celebrate everything that is the Blue Mountain. So, you know, we have great cafes and restaurants and bars all along the way, but we also have some great attractions. So we're combining everything. We have very good culinary experiences. We have some really great restaurants, and we've brought everything into one place and everyone can experience it. The beauty of the views of the Newcastle, but also the history of the Newcastle, and then putting everything together so that persons can really have a fantastic time.
Now, I know that the government is placing greater emphasis on gastronomy. What can we expect out of the gastronomy tourism area come this year?
Well, definitely, you know, we have launched our Taste Jamaica website and app, and we're going to continue to partner with other persons in terms of raising our food festivals to the next level. We'll be looking at opening up other gastronomy centers, as we had Devon House as our first across the island. So it's an ongoing project, but most importantly, it's education, letting Jamaicans understand the wide length and breadth of gastronomy tourism and how they can capitalize on that using using indigenous Jamaican products and making really good tourism experiences, not only for overseas visitors, but for locals who are here on the island. Because you know, you're still a tourist if you move from one area of the island. So we want to make sure that everybody experiences everything fantastic about our cuisine at all levels and to excite persons to create new and different and exciting Jamaican products.
I'm now joined by a coffee farmer, Mr. Mervyn Hibbert. Talk to me about the festival today. What has it been like?
It has been a great festival. Owing to the fact that I am a small coffee farmer, and what I see today is great, and I believe that more farmers should have been here, and more Jamaicans should be here to witness this festival of our own Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. I also view that a lot of visitors was here, and I see they are all full joy themselves. Everything today was great, and I'm looking forward to it for next year.
Is there anything that you think the government can do to enhance the festival come next year?
Well, what I think the government should do, they should put a bigger input in it, okay? And to help to do something to help we the struggling farmers based on what is reached us as coffee farmers now. Because you know, our venture is very expensive, okay? So if we can get some reduction like in farm tools, fertilizers and things like those, it will be great, it will be helpful for us at this time.
Hypro being here today, maybe many folks may want, Hypro at a coffee seminar. Everybody know Hypro to be a company that sells feed and chicken. But over the years, Hypro has integrated the operations, and we now have an agronomy department at Hypro, where we sell a wide cross-section of pesticides, meaning fungicides and insecticides, fertilizers for the coffee industry.
What do you think about the festival? What are your thoughts?
Well, for the first time, it's a great show. We get to interact with some of the stakeholders. We can showcase our products that we have at Hypro to control some of the major problem in the coffee industry.
I like festivals, and I've been to festivals in other countries, and it's world class. I like the quality, I like what I'm seeing, and I have a bit of love for coffee, so it's good to come and have experienced so many different coffee products, and there are also other things, so it's really good. I'm enjoying it.
Chris, talk to me a little bit about your experience so far.
Oh, it's been wonderful so far to be able to come up to the Blue Mountains and experience where the real coffee comes from in Jamaica. The people and all the events and stalls that have been held are pretty good.
You have a drink in your hand there. Where is that drink from?
Right there, sir. Island Blue coffee.
How is that?
Pretty damn good.
All right, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, man.
It is truly a weekend of Epicurean excellence right here at the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, and I'm now joined by a few friends. Talk to me about the experience so far.
Oh, it's a great initiative. Although we live in Jamaica, we don't get to drink Blue Mountain coffee, and we are all from Japan, and Blue Mountain coffee is very famous there. So yes, we've always wanted to try.
What are you looking forward to?
Trying the local delicacy and different types of coffee. Yes, of this very beautiful location.
We're still here at the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival, and we have much more for you coming up right after this break. Stay with us.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
What has the feedback been like from some of the patrons here today?
Oh, it's been amazing. As a matter of fact, I was just walking through the marketplace and, you know, everyone is having such a great time. They didn't expect this evening. They're enjoying Taurus Riley. They've enjoyed the performances, the dancers from Dance Theatre Expressions. They enjoyed Charlestown Maroons. The food, the energy, the atmosphere. It's amazing.
What did the Tourism Linkages Network hope to take away from this festival today?
We have 36 booths, everything, coffee related, coffee infused, and coffee. Our mandate is to connect local suppliers of goods and services with the tourism industry, to introduce them to that expansive value chain that is tourism. And so with an event like this, we're working with the stakeholders in the Blue Mountains. We're working with, I'm sure you saw the signs coming up, the culinary trail. So we're working with the restaurants for that culinary experience. We're working with coffee farmers as well, so that they understand that their contribution to the coffee industry is more than just producing the beans. You understand? So essentially, we are trying to deepen our linkages on the agriculture side by working with farmers and also working with the businesses to create a wholesome, fulsome experience that locals and visitors alike can enjoy.
And what can we expect from the Blue Mountain Coffee Festival 2019?
Oh gosh, bigger and better. Of course, we want to continue to strengthen our partnerships with JDF, with Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, RADA, JCRA. We want to work with all the coffee producers, the Cafe Blues, coffee traders, Cannonballs, Starbucks. We want to work with all of them, big and small, and just work to make the industry even better for all the players.
Cannonball Cafe is one of the actually first cafes in the Jamaica industry. We have been in business for over 14 years. We offer a wide range of products, from the most outstanding and delectable breakfasts to soups, sandwich, salads, lasagnas, crab backs, and of course, the unbelievable Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, because without that, there is nothing else to be had.
Talk to me about how the festival here might boost your brand at Cannonball Cafe.
Well, it's definitely going to help us, because anything that we can do to raise the awareness of our Blue Mountain coffee can only benefit us. And we are so intrinsically steeped with our coffee culture here, and we want to get out to everybody in Jamaica how fabulous our coffee is, and the world actually, and what we can do and how talented we are with our coffee as well as all of our baked goods. It can only help us. It's a win-win for everybody.
What do you think about the state's idea to move out of the traditional drink-like use of the Blue Mountain coffee?
Well, we're already doing that, because we have it infused in our bread pudding. We have what we call a mini puff of heaven, which is an eclair with some coffee-infused French cream. We do coffee-infused brownies with a glacé sauce all over it. So we have a wide assortment. It's not just for drinking, but it's also for eating and consuming. Chocolate-covered coffee beans, you name it, we got it.
I'm here with Ras Jeremiah from the company Natural by Nature. Talk to me a little bit about your business here and what's going on.
Yeah, well, we have some coffee product infusion with coffee fried dumpling, coffee bame. We have coffee rice and peas, roast fish.
Well, let me ask you, this is the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts?
Up, thumbs up. 100% out of 100, yeah. And we have to keep on doing such cultural thing like this because Jamaica is a cultural island. We're full of culture, we're full of talent, so put it on.
Talk to me about your experience here today.
It's been fabulous. We as a social enterprise, our goal is to employ deaf people throughout the island. So we're excited today. Our baristas are working in 3 different tents with different partners. We're here today with Country Traders, which their brand is Coffee Roasters brand. We're also at Cannonball and Toyota with David Twyman's Coffee. So it's been great crowds. It's been a steady flow throughout the day, and I feel really good and excited for what next year holds.
How do you think the festival is helping to boost the local coffee industry in Jamaica?
Yeah, it's got to be positive because a lot of times people don't know how diverse coffee can be, how it can be used. So as they come here and see it on Copperwood Port, as a rub, or they see it as a pour over, they see it as espresso, they're going to see a barista competition later. It's just going to raise everybody's awareness and understanding of coffee.
How do you think the festival here will help to boost brand Cafe Blue?
That's a good question. I think it's not only about Cafe Blue. I think it's about Blue Mountain Coffee in general. From the fact that we are coffee farmers and we have actually utilized the product in another way, in many other ways, to develop byproducts. As you can see, our chocolate-covered beans, our chocolate-infused coffee, and our coffee that we distribute all over. I think it's for everybody. I think this is a push Jamaica, not just about us as a brand as Cafe Blue. I think, of course, it will add to what we do, but listen, we're all about everybody that is brand Jamaica in general.
So talk to me about how you at Cafe Blue engage Jamaican farmers.
On the Cafe Blue side, we don't actually have direct contact with the farmers per se. It's more Coffee Traders, which is our mother company. That is the farming aspect of where we come from and where we were birthed out of, our brand. And what we do is we actually provide seminars for them. We actually have contacts that work with us directly that basically ensure that farmers at all times are managing their costs, which is most important, especially for them to reap the benefits of making sure that the coffee is sold at the best price, and also for them to be successful. All right, that is important. So we make sure that we educate them, which is the most important thing, and that we show them the techniques, we share with them, we make sure that they're involved in all aspects of the farming.
Third place is Toyota and Cannonball! Woo! In second place, my people, my coffee lovers, scoring, where are my points? 105 points. It goes to the man that made my lips feel good with that almond on the rim of the cup. Def Kid! Competition winner is Coffee Blue at 108 points.
That's it from us here at the inaugural Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. Until next time, I've been your host, Andrew Laidley, and thanks for tuning in to Business Access TV. Serious about business. Yeah.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Education must not simply teach work, it must teach life. This quote by American civil rights activist William Du Bois is a timely reminder as we get ready for the new school term. Hello there, welcome to another edition of Your Jamaica Magazine. In today's show, we highlight two schools that are demonstrating what it truly means to teach life to their students. Hang around, I'll be back before you know it.
Did you know that there are medical, academic, and social benefits of doing a sport?
Exercising regularly can reduce the risk of non-communicable diseases such as cancer and stroke. Working together promotes important life skills such as teamwork, leadership, problem solving, and mutual respect. And competing nurtures sportsmanship and lasting friendships, as well as improves self-esteem and resilience.
So join a sport today and enjoy these benefits.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, August 30. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is expecting a smooth start to the 2019-2020 academic year on Monday, September 2. During the ministry's annual back-to-school press conference yesterday, the minister with oversight, Carl Samuda, said millions of dollars have been invested to address the needs of schools and students.
The disbursement of funds by the ministry to all secondary institutions is being maintained at a maximum of $19,000 per student, and special support is in selected areas of up to $11,000 per student. A total of $11 billion, including path feeding grants, is being provided to schools for the school year. We continue to give schools maintenance grants ranging from $150,000 to $500,000 at the secondary level.
He says the ministry is also providing support in other areas, including the full funding of temporary and part-time teachers, as well as school cooks.
In addition, $100 million will be spent on upgrading schools' canteens and provision of equipment. Literature books are being provided for the students on PATH at all levels of the secondary school at a cost of over $120 million.
$120 million has also been provided for PATH students' literature books at the secondary level. That's in addition to $800 million towards the National Textbook Loan Scheme and the Primary Textbook Program. Minister Samuda says all books for the first term will be delivered to schools by September 2, while the other deliveries should be completed by October. Meanwhile, $26 million was provided to cover the insurance of PATH students and wards of the state. The ministry has also contributed $380 million to the transportation program of schools in 8 parishes and book vouchers for the neediest students. In the meantime, Minister with responsibility for water, Pernell Charles Jr., has mandated the National Water Commission, NWC, to put measures in place to ensure the availability of water in all schools. Among other things, the NWC is to truck water to all schools affected by drought and those that have a regular piped water supply. The school's water storage facilities are to be filled to ensure steady supply even if there are disruptions in service. An island-wide trucking schedule has been prepared and trucking commenced this week in preparation for the new school term. The NWC is also donating water tanks to schools that need them. In addition, pipeline infrastructure upgrade has been carried out in St. James, which will result in an improved supply to Anchovy High School in the parish. At the same time, the Rural Water Supply Limited has constructed rainwater harvesting infrastructure and storage tanks at multiple schools across the island to ensure increased access to water as we enter into the rainy season. Minister Charles Jr. says NWC representatives have been assigned to maintain contact with school administrators to monitor water distribution. School administrators may contact the NWC toll-free at 888-225-5692 for assistance. Still on back-to-school preparations, the National Works Agency is putting a number of measures in place to manage traffic Monday morning and the rest of the academic year. 4 lanes of traffic will be opened to the motoring public at the stretch of Constant Spring Road from Manor Park to West Kings House Road. Vehicular traffic will also be allowed along Hagley Park Road, including the 3 Miles area. Motorists traveling from the direction of Marcus Garvey Drive and the Portmore Toll Road heading to Halfway Tree will use the higher level bridge at 3 Miles. Those along Spanish Town Road heading to or from downtown will use the lower level of the bridge. Traffic signals will also be installed at specific points across Kingston and St. Catherine. These include Cassava Peace Road, Mannings Hill Road, Hillman Road along Constant Spring Road, and Acadia Drive in Barbican. The locations along Hagley Park Road include Keesing Avenue, O'Mara Road, and 3 Miles. Traffic signals are also expected to be in operation at Germain Road, Pepperwood, and the Nagohead or Newlands intersection in Portmore, St. Catherine. Also, the first layer of asphalt will be placed on all the corridors where major roadworks continue, while temporary lane markings will be done to reduce inappropriate use of the newly laid corridors. And the Minister with Oversight for Education, Carl Samuda, says the Jamaica Constabulary Force has agreed to do its best to manage traffic demands and changes for back to school.
And they have undertaken to do their very best to facilitate the back to school demand that is going to be brought to bear on specific areas throughout the country, not just in the area that I've mentioned.
The minister says he has met with the JCF and asked that sufficient police officers be deployed to direct traffic and prevent undue delays. The new academic year will commence on Monday, September 2. In other news, the Bank of Jamaica BOJ says expansion of gross domestic product GDP in the near term is forecast at an average quarterly rate of 1 to 2%. This is below the previous projection of 1.5 to 2.5%. BOJ's Governor Richard Biles made the announcement during the bank's quarterly press briefing on Thursday. Notwithstanding the expectation for a slower pace of GDP growth, Mr. Biles says labor market conditions continue to improve.
Jamaica's unemployment rate fell to a record low of 7.8% in April 2019, down from 9.8% a year earlier. We expect to see even further improvements in labor market conditions over the next 2 years, with more jobs anticipated in tourism, manufacturing, finance and insurance, and business process outsourcing.
The central bank governor adds that the prospects for the Jamaican economy remain positive, even though headwinds are on the horizon in the global economy.
Foreign reserves are at an adequate level, and we have a sustainable position in the current account balance of payments. Fiscal performance is strong, and public sector debt continues to decline at a steady pace. Market interest rates remain generally low.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
I encourage the deaf children to have deaf pride, to know that they can. You're on the same level as a hearing person. It doesn't matter that you can't hear. You have a lot of deaf adults who are successful, and you can achieve. You can get the education that you want, you can do anything that you want, you can achieve. Don't feel like you can't because you're deaf.
In believing that nothing is impossible, I have been able to culture a very positive attitude to life, and that positive attitude has worked for me, and I am confident it will work for others. I would want to say to persons with vision impairment and disabilities, that it is critical that they become tooled or retooled with the appropriate technologies that can help to drive the way forward so that they can accomplish their vision and their goals.
Children with disabilities, whether you have CP or not, I strongly believe that you have a purpose. My disability has taught me that when it says the sky is the limit, it is. There are times when you're going to fall, but what is to stop you from rising?
Did you know that there is a high school right here in Jamaica that is teaching upper sixth form students to drive? Yes. The Jonathan Grant High School in St. Catherine has successfully embarked on its driving education program. Since its inception earlier this year, 5 students have received their driver's licenses.
Like any typical high school student, we do the arts.
We also do the sciences.
And business.
Here at Jonathan Grant High School, there are 4 of us who also do driving ed.
School zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone.
Good morning, Miss Clark.
Good morning.
Miss Clark.
Good morning. It's another episode of School Zone, and as you can see, we're journeying with the students of the Driving Ed program at the Jonathan Grant High School. Right now, we're joining them at one of their driving training areas in Eltham Park, where we're going to witness firsthand what one of their classes is all about. But before we begin, let's learn some more about the program.
At Jonathan Grant High School, we pride ourselves in being innovative and creative. And so as a result of that, we decided that we were going to try with our students to ensure as many as possible to leave our institution with a driver's license. And as part of that, we wanted to ensure that all students leave with TRN as well. So the driver's license experience was part of that package. And so we decided to roll it out to students who are at age 17. And so we managed to enroll about 5 or 6 students. We wanted more, but 5 or 6 students came forward. And so as a result of that, Driving Education 101 was rolled out. The trainer, Mr. Frank, his wife, former vice principal of this institution, he does this for a living. And so when we came up with the idea for the program, he's the first person that came to my mind. I sat down with him and spoke with him, and they decided to give us a package which I believe was reasonable. The school decided to put up front the amount charged by Mr. Frank for 3 students, and then the others pay. I'm hoping that come next school year, that the program will be bigger. We can have at least 10, 20 students in the program, and no doubt I'm going to seek some funding from elsewhere. All the students in the program are in the upper school, grade 10, 11, 12, 13. They're on the afternoon shift, which starts at 12. So they'll go to Mr. Frank at about 9 o'clock in the mornings.
We pick them up at school, take them to the location where we have the obstacle to training, and then we time them as one finish a time, that shift over to the wheel, another one take over, and we go through the process. We do the pre-driving inspection, where you check your documents, know the expiration of your documents, check on your engine to know the oil level, the fuel level, water level, and so on. Then we do the engine, the tire check and the lights to make sure they know when they are functioning. After going through that, then we introduce them to the vehicle, where they know the controls, the name of the controls, the usage. Following that, then we go through the forward driving. As soon as they are comfortable with the forward driving, we do some turn, left and right turn, and some stops and moving off. After they are comfortable with that now, then we introduce unit 2, which is reverse. When we introduce reverse, first we're going to introduce them how to do straight reverse. As soon as they are comfortable with the straight reverse, then we do the left hand back up. Left hand back up out of the road and come to the left side. As soon as they are comfortable with the left side, we go to the right side. And real life situation that helps them to take the car out of the driveway to put it out on the road and to do the left and right back up. After they are comfortable with that now, then we introduce them to the S-bend. And what is the S-bend now? As the name suggests, that prepare them like they are in a parking lot and they are learning how to maneuver without touching the other vehicles in the lot. As soon as they are comfortable with that, then we introduce them to the parallel parking, Unit 3. And parallel parking is like a parking between two vehicles on the sidewalk, left and right hand side. That's it. Okay, so we line up with the first marker there, then full lock to your left. Good, and then you straighten the wheel. And you notify the examiner to finish by blowing your horn or tooting your horn. Now we are exiting the parking area. Okay guys, so that is it for today's practice. Well done, I'm proud of you all.
Yes, well done. Hey, hey, hey.
Ready. Hi Jamaica, we are the first batch of students from the Jonathan Grant High School to be a part of the Driving Ed program. You're watching School Zone.
Safety and confidence are two crucial components of this driving course. So how can we achieve that? By listening to your instructor, adhering to your road rules / road code, be aware of your surrounding, and be confident in what you're doing.
So we've made our way back to the school campus, and right now we're going to be speaking to the 5 lucky students of the Driving Ed program. We're going to be asking them about their thoughts on the course.
We decided to do this program because it is essential and it's a skill that we'd love to have in the future, and it is very beneficial to us as students to learn how to drive, because as you know, we're 6th formers and we'll be going to colleges, and learning to drive and getting our license at the end of the course means taking a next step, like buying a car and driving to school.
I was a little excited knowing that I'll be learning how to drive. Even though I was learning before, my dad taught me a little about driving before. But during each lessons, I've learned a lot more. For example, learning the left hand back up, the right hand back up. And I didn't really know how to do the parallel parking. So I've learned a lot since then.
The exam basically is split into 3 different sections. You have the written test, the on-ground test, and the road test. So the written test is broken down into mechanical and road code, which I really had a problem with the mechanical because you have more than one correct answers, and when you think you know, sometimes you don't. So I was really nervous when it came down to that, but I passed, so that means others can too.
Learning to drive is not a right, it's a privilege, and once you are afforded that privilege, then I believe that you should make the best of it.
My mother's thought, actually, she was and still is excited about the program because she sees it as something that will help me to further my future.
My name is Hortense Wellington and I'm Elian's mom, and I'm so enthused about him doing this program. It is a big achievement on his part and I'm really, really proud of him. And I'm also proud of the program for allowing them this opportunity to excel in this venture. He has big dreams of owning his own trucking company, so this, having his license, will enable him to venture out on that dream of his.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wellington. And this is such a fitting way to end the program for today. Thank you so much for joining with us. If you want to watch this program all again, simply visit our website, jis.gov.jm. And if you think you have what it takes to be featured in School Zone, email me at sclark@gis.gov.jm. I'm Sandra Clark, reminding you that
we got our license and you can too. Drive good.
traffic lights till somebody get hurt and the tears start cry. Save a life for the kids, for you and I. Save kids' lives. Make the road safe whether day or night, for pedestrians, passengers, cars and bikes. Save a life for the kids, for you and I. Save kids' lives.
Hey man, it's our job to keep the road them safe. And protect care of the youth them so we know them safe. And obey the road code, don't race. No bother with the speeding, cause make face. And check your light them on your tires and brakes. Riders on the pillions who left the helmet. I put on the cell phone, no send no text. No matter what color they on your plate.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you can save a life. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, I beg you please be safe. Wear your seatbelt for keep you safe, and make sure your helmet's in place when you're on the road.
Hey, follow me. Well, everybody drive good and walk good. Then teach the youth them how to cross good. I beg you obey the road signs, park good. And put the young ones in a car seats, all good. And everybody drive good and walk good. And we say young and old, I beg you cross good. Remember the dark close at night, that is not good. From you I use up the sidewalk, it's all good.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you can save a life. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, I beg you please be safe. Wear your seatbelt to keep you safe, and make sure your helmet's in place when you're on the road. When you're on the road, when you're on the road.
Similar to Jonathan Grant High, the Licensed Center of Excellence in St. Thomas has been using numerous unconventional activities to educate and engage its students. Interested to know what these are? Take a look.
The Licensed Center of Excellence caters to students post-primary, 13 years and up, who have been assessed and who have been diagnosed to be on the intellectually disabled spectrum. That means they're either mild to moderate. The Digicel Foundation was kind enough to give us this wonderful school so St. Thomas can cater more to these children who need special attention. This institution opened its doors September 2017. We have a wonderful team here. We have teachers who love children. We have an administrative and an ancillary staff who loves children. Most naturally, the campus coordinator loves children. So we are here catering to the needs of these children because we believe in adding value. These children have a lot to offer, but you can only unearth it with patience, with love, and with care. Because if they don't trust you, you can't win them. And so, we want these children to be independent. We want them to contribute to their families, to their communities, and the society at large. And so we're preparing them for the working world. So at the Licensed Center of Excellence, we are skill-based. There is room for improvement, and we welcome the hands to share so that we can care more. We offer theater arts. Yes, the children can do a little. Communication. We do math, but not the math you know of trigonometry. No, we are teaching them how to balance their books, so they know a lot of measurement and of course money. We offer to them home economics, food preparation, and a little clothing and textile. As you walk around our lovely campus, it's green vegetation. So we do a little bit of agriculture and we're able to give to our kitchen, and the children can get to take home. Of course at a cost, because we're teaching them that everything comes with a cost, because we need money to do other things. My students are interesting and we listen to them. One boy said to me, "Miss, me no want the way you do the school and I'm want to fill your block." And so I went out into the wider community, and we're actually teaching our students how to lay blocks, and they're enjoying it. In special ed, a lot of emphasis is placed on life skills, and life skills is taught in all the subject areas with extra emphasis coming from the guidance departments. So of course, License Center of Excellence is the place to be.
My classroom is a corporate space. I facilitate learning. My students learn from each other. They help each other during the learning process. Enabling them, I make certain that I encourage them that there's nothing that they cannot do. And the motivation that they get from being a part of my classroom, the fact that we differentiate learning too in there and tiered activities are used, it makes no child feel left out.
What I love about the License Center of Excellence, it's a level playing field. We exclude no one. So all activities, if it means you're to get assistance, be it from a classmate, a teacher, or from an ancillary worker, you're going to get the assistance because we believe in excellence. Excellence for all.
And just like that, we have arrived at the last page of today's Jamaica Magazine. But don't worry, you can turn the pages with us again tomorrow and every day after. While you wait, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for our daily video uploads and news stories. You may also follow us on all our social media sites for the latest information on government programs and initiatives. I'm Audrey. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
watching Business Access TV. Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV welcomes you to the 2019 Sterling Asset Management Investor Briefing being held under the theme, Is Export-Led Growth Right for Jamaica? Hi, I'm Elon Parkinson. Let's stay for the highlights.
Before we get into some hard-hitting questions, I want to give each person on the panel just 2 minutes, a strict 2 minutes, to tell us their outlook on what's going on. Our theme this evening is the role of monetary policy in driving export-driven growth. We'll get into that a bit more in more detail later, but right now I wanted to give each gentleman a chance to give us their outlook on the economy, what's been going on, and a chance to air some of what they think is most important.
Bank of Jamaica is focused now on building the wherewithal, the infrastructure, the methodologies of entrenching low, stable, and predictable inflation. That has been a missing factor for much of our history, and over the last 10 years, with a series of reforms, we've worked to get to where we are now, where inflation is fairly predictable, the external accounts are sustainable, the fiscal accounts are in great shape, the debt is falling. What we need now is the infrastructure that can entrench low and stable inflation as a long-term expectation. And that's critical to our growth prospects. It's critical to how investors behave, if they can predict the future with some certainty. It's critical to the exchange rate behavior. It's critical to maintaining a competitive exchange rate, which is a critical factor in export-led growth.
I mean, what I would say is at this particular juncture, there is a lot of discussion about Jamaica exiting from IMF financial support. Maybe I could take the 2 minutes and a half to say what does that mean for us or for the Jamaican people. For us, it means that the financial leg of our operation in Jamaica ends, but that's only one of the functions that the IMF performs as an institution. So we do lend to countries, that's one. But the two other legs will remain, because what we also do is that we do coach countries how to run policies, how to reform the tax administration, a wide range of issues. So we think of ourselves as coach. We also think of us, we are very ambitious, so we also think of ourselves as doctor. So we visit our 189 member countries to do what we call health check, even if there is no program, even if we don't have a lending agreement with those countries, we do visit them annually to perform health check and offer our advice on policies. And you will be surprised to learn that the latest data show that in 2018, lending was only 14%, 1/4 of IMF resources. The other 86% went to coaching countries and to doing the health check of those countries. So after the IMF program finished and towards the end of this year, the partnership between Jamaica and the IMF will remain. And as a matter of fact, the IMF office will remain open. So all the pillars that will help Jamaica entrench the hard-won gain over the past 6 years are being put in place. You can think about the Fiscal Council that Minister Clark has been pushing for, and there is a lot of work going into that to make sure that there is a watchdog that will ensure that whichever administration comes to power, there are binding fiscal targets that would guide the conduct of fiscal policy. There is a bill in the parliament currently on ensuring that the central bank is independent enough to conduct monetary policy freely. And there are all kinds of reforms precisely to make sure that the pillars, the foundations are there for Jamaica to sustain the reform momentum that we've seen over the past few years.
Well, that's good to know that the IMF will continue its presence. And of course, we really value, I know the local analyst community really values the data that both the BOJ and the IMF do a great, great job of putting out. We base a lot of our research on that. So we'd like to express our gratitude. And Charles, can we move to you?
Right. Well, I think that the real challenge remaining for us is to transform the output of our economy and the rate of growth. I think John certainly made the point that we've made progress on the fiscal and monetary side, or at least some aspects of that, very important aspects. But I sort of think of it a bit like riding a bicycle. If you are moving very slowly, it's difficult to keep your balance. And really what we want is that we want to maintain the hard-won gains of the last few years. And I think that having a faster rate of growth will certainly help in that respect. And so this is really why I think the whole issue of the export-led growth model is certainly worthy of some discussion.
I would throw to Dr. Lonkengwano, who has had some experience in other countries, and you referenced, Charles, an export-led growth model. Can you maybe tell us, Dr. Lonkengwano, is this model appropriate for Jamaica? And if so, what are maybe 2 prerequisites that you think would, and I'm sure there are many things that need to be in place, but if you would identify the 2 most impactful ones, what would you say they are?
Yeah, I think I will draw on a story to relate to that question. The Jamaican Manufacturer and Exporter Association, from time to time, they do this tour. So they visit one firm to look at their processes. It's a tour that I like to join because you have hands-on experience of what the firm goes through on a day-to-day basis. And during one of those tours 2 years ago, I won't name the firm, but it's a firm that is in business of spice, making spice, exporting to the US. So on the side, I asked the CFO, what is your most binding constraint? Is it the demand, that you don't have enough demand for your product? Or is it more supply in terms of running your operations? The answer was so striking. He said, no, the demand is there. The US market, I can barely scratch the surface. So the demand is not an issue because I'm looking outward. So I'm not looking about, I'm not looking at the 2.8 million people in Jamaica. I have a larger market and the demand is there. So I don't face any constraint on that side. I asked, okay, why don't you expand if the demand is there? And he said, interest rates are very high. But that was 2 years ago. I need to go and talk to him again.
Another talk.
To figure out, because BOJ has been busy cutting interest rates.
Yeah.
And just to find out what is the state of affairs now, but the sense is that access to finance was a big issue then, and I understand it's still an issue. Because of the, part of it is the business model of financial institutions, which were understandably used to running on government papers because government debt was very high. But now that the government is paying down the debt, banks are flush with cash, and the question is, how do you unleash that to finance private sector activity? So that's one constraint, I would say, access to finance to allow firms to expand beyond Jamaican borders, because as a firm, given also the digital revolution, your market is not confined to Jamaica. So that's one. The second thing I asked him, I kind of pushed him, what else? So he said, US consumer, he said, I'm using the word that he's used, are allergic to price increase. He said, basically my price is, I can't dream of any price increase in the US market, which you will understand, right? Because inflation there is 1-2%. So there is no scope to increase your price. And what he told me was that the only margin that he has in terms of managing its cost increase and so on is the exchange rate. Because he get the same price in US. So for him to meet its increased cost locally, which, by the way, includes security costs to fight crime, right? You need a lot of security officers. It's only if the exchange rate depreciates. Because when the exchange rate depreciates for him, bringing back those US dollars from his sales means dollar of Jamaican dollar that he can then pay people, pay the security stuff, and so on. So exchange rate, I don't want to say exchange rate policy because there is no really such thing as exchange rate policy, but your monetary policy framework is part of the equation. And as Sir John just mentioned, the bank is very busy trying to entrench a low, stable, and predictable environment. So I believe, inflation targeting is certainly the monetary policy framework that would kind of foster this type of export-led growth. So those are maybe two critical pillars: access to finance in terms of allowing those small businesses to innovate and reach wider market because they need to scale up. And then, the whole notion of monetary policy framework, having a framework that preserves what we call, economists call price competitiveness, because you have to be competitive at all times. If your local costs are high, you need your exchange rate to shelter you against that so you can remain competitive on external market, because that's how people choose where to buy from. They choose based on the cost.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands.
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more. Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Deputy Governor Robinson, I of course had an icebreaker, easier question for you at first, but after Dr. Lankengwana's point, I must ask you a few things. One is, are you happy with the rate of growth of credit to the private sector based on what you have been seeing? And I know that the central bank's remit has nothing to do with the actual systems through which the money gets lent, but do you think banks are doing enough?
Well, one of the effects that we expect from our cumulative relaxation of policy is an acceleration in the rate of growth of credit, not distinguishing at the origin between personal and business. But we believe that if banks expand credit broadly, then that is a mechanism through which domestic demand can pick up and growth can occur. We understand, or we have seen a pickup in growth in credit over the past 2 years. We're running now at about 15% year over year, which is much faster than we have been accustomed to.
That's good to know.
We think there is scope for even faster expansion. Banks are liquid, there is demand, there is a shortage of other assets, and the return on very safe assets is very low. So there's a great incentive for banks to find good credits and to expand their book. We're not reckless about expansion at all costs. There is yet another side to this, which is about bubbles, about credit risk, about the search for yields which go beyond due care. And we cannot afford a repeat of some of the issues that we've faced in the past. So while we are promulgating a very accommodative monetary policy, we are mindful of the need to maintain credit quality and the need for a lot of that credit, where possible, to go towards business expansion. We don't direct credit. So who the banks choose to lend to depends on their assessment of projects, depends on growth sectors, prospects, and so on. But if there's a generalized response to very low, relatively low interest rates and an outlook for an accommodative monetary policy, this is one of the foundations on which we can spur faster domestic demand and growth. I just want to touch back on one of the points Constance made about the exchange rate. We've spent a lot of time correcting an overvalued exchange rate. Over the past 6 years or so, we have experienced a real depreciation of about 1.8% a year.
Wow.
Which has helped to correct a long period of overvaluation, which was measured at about the time the program started. This right sizing, right valuation of the real exchange rate is one of the foundations on which an export sector can grow. An overvalued exchange rate favors imports and acts as a disincentive for exporters to invest more in expanding their business. The person who is relying on the exchange rate to recover costs that he experiences locally, who then finds that there is a tendency towards overvaluation, cannot recover those costs that, as Dr. Longking says, is needed if you can't adjust your prices abroad. So a fairly valid exchange rate built on a flexible exchange rate system is one of the key pillars for favoring an export-led growth policy.
100%. I'm very glad you touched on that, Deputy Governor Robinson, and I'll give Charles an opportunity to, I know he has strong views on this, and there are also countries all over the world, to your point, that have employed similar strategies. Charles, I don't know if you want to touch on a few case studies.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could mention, several, beginning with, of course, Japan and Germany in the 60s, Singapore, South Korea in the 70s, China since then. But one of the things that I wanted to throw out to both Constance and John is that, that whole notion of the inflation differential, because It really is how the markets ultimately adjust. And Constance's point about exporters being price takers, it really means that the extent to which our inflation rate is higher than that of our major trading partners like the US and so on, then you almost have to automatically expect that level of adjustment in the exchange rate on an annual basis, on average. I don't know how we condition the country to accept that. But, and of course, the other thing that we have to accept is that markets very often overshoot. If the inflation differential is 3%, it doesn't mean that there's going to be exactly a 3% adjustment. It may be 5, it may be 4, it may be 6, it may be 2. But, there has to be that adjustment in order to maintain the competitiveness. And I think the other thing we have to accept is that it's better for the rate to be a little undervalued because that provides an extra incentive rather than overvalued and provide a disincentive and a penalty for exporters.
All of what you're saying, all three of you, seems to be very sound economic logic. But for some reason, the broad society has not generally, and of course, as reflected in the media, generally is not accepting of these principles. Are Jamaicans too obsessed with the exchange rate? Are we looking at the wrong metrics? And why? Why would that be the case?
So maybe let me start where Charles left. The whole notion of inflation differential, that if you're running inflation higher than your trade partners, in order to maintain your competitiveness, your exchange rate will have to close the gap so that you can be, you don't come across as too costly. Right? So when you start from that point, it's very clear that eventually, so there are two components. There is a medium, what we call medium to long term, not day-to-day movement. So over the medium term, like on average per year, your depreciation will be the inflation differential. Let's take a very simple example. The Fed target 2% inflation, and the Bank of Jamaica target 5%. So if they all meet their target, the exchange rate will have to depreciate by 3% to close that gap. And that's over the medium term, not every day. Because what happens on a daily basis is that one day, you'll have a lot of people wanting US dollar for some reason, just timing of their imports, because they need the US to import, and less people supplying because there are maybe few tourists came that day or whatever. So at each point in time, you wouldn't expect that to hold. You wouldn't expect that inflation differential to be a daily thing because even inflation numbers are released once a month. So. And those markets, in economics, there are always transitions where things overshoot, undershoot, but then eventually there is autocorrection. That's just how the mechanics works, right? So on a daily basis, if there are more people wanting the US dollar than people supplying the US dollar, the price of the US dollar will go up. It's a commodity like any other commodity. And if there are fewer people wanting the US dollar and more people supplying, well, the price of the US dollar will go down, which is an exchange rate appreciation. So you wouldn't expect on a day-to-day basis that the exchange rate will move with inflation differential. But eventually, market forces will take you to that level that is compatible with the inflation differential. And the Bank of Jamaica has been very busy making sure that the day-to-day movements are not subject to distortions. So it should be market-based, in terms of making sure that market participants have the information flow. The market is very transparent. And I'm sure Sir John will speak about the BFIXIT, the mechanism that they put in place to make sure that the market function well. Because what you want on the market, any market, is that demand and supply meet. And you don't stand in the middle of the demand and supply. And eventually, the correction will take place. And you will expect the exchange rate to move with the inflation differential.
Thank you. And Governor Robinson?
Well, two things I would emphasize, as Constance just did. the importance of low inflation. We're building a whole infrastructure to entrench that, from the legislative changes through to our now world-famous communication efforts,
Yes.
our training, our modeling, our whole organizational structure is being modified to take us to full-fledged inflation targeting as an operating framework. What we want to assure Jamaicans is that we have the organizational ability to reliably deliver on our mandate. So we're being given a core mandate, deliver inflation according to the target that is set for you. Communicate what you see ahead. You will be free to adjust policy to meet that goal. But over time, we want everybody to hold you accountable for that outcome. And once that track record is established, then people will adjust their expectations accordingly. We will have entrenched, low, stable, and predictable inflation, which is the one part of the equation which was being discussed, the inflation differential and expectations. Flexibility can be uncomfortable at times. If the rate doesn't move at all, then consumers feel happiest. They do. I mean, if you ask anybody who has to import a lot, what worries you the most? And it's usually the fact that the exchange rate may move against me by the time I have to pay for the goods that I have imported. Having an environment where these changes become more flexible, more predictable, more firmly based on the policy intentions of the authorities, I think people will adopt and adapt their behavior accordingly. There will be no certainty on a given day what the exchange rate will be. But if inflation is managed reliably and predictably at a low level, then we can, over time, expect no more than a certain rate of adjustment, and we can build products that can hedge against those expectations. So building an environment of stable domestic prices, building a system of exchange of foreign currency that is transparent, that is market-based, and which increasingly will become more accessible by end users. And I'll talk a little bit later about the trading platform that we're putting in place. But these foundations, monetary stability and exchange rate flexibility, will lead to a maintenance of competitiveness, which then leads to a more promising environment for export growth and growth.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour.
Bullseye for Eyes Summer Sale. Try your luck at the Bullseye and get up to 40% off your frames. Land on the Bullseye and your eyeglasses are completely free. This summer, July 15th to August 31st, everyone is a winner at Island Eyewear. Conditions apply. Call 630-1180 or visit islandeyewear.com. Island Eyewear, your price, your style.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
In their recent Article 4 IMF report, they suggested that, maybe suggested is a strong word, but they outlined that, persistent unscheduled interventions in the FX market could have unintended consequences, so to speak. And my question to you is, does the Bank of Jamaica intend to continue to use the flash sale mechanism in the future, or will we be, as we get better at predicting the demand and supply, will BFIX-IT be used more regularly?
Well, BFIX-IT is a kind of halfway house. It's a step towards an eventual system of fairly free trading among dealers with end users on an electronic platform.
Okay.
What we've tried to introduce in this midway stage is to accustom dealers to help discover what the prices are in the market through competitive bidding for amounts that we sell during periods of shortages. We have had instances or episodes where we've been buying, but that has those left a sour aftertaste in the minds of market players because they thought we were buying at too high a rate. But BFIX-IT was meant to give notice and to sell into the market based on information supplied by dealers. So if they say at the end of June we see about 20 million globally, then we will give notice that we will sell all or some of that into the market around that time. And that gave the assurance that dealers could fill orders from positions, knowing that additional liquidity will come to the market then. It has led to an expectation of smoothing, which I think is not the intention of our liquidity injections. The market has matured some more, and it will mature further as we move to more electronic trading. Currently, the market is testing a platform produced by Bloomberg, which allows them to view quotes among themselves, not to consummate trades online, but enough discovery among the players so that any dealer, yourself, can look online and see what every other dealer is selling and what amounts. We hope by the first quarter of next year to introduce our own platform, custom built for Jamaica, where players, dealers can look at quotes, strike deals, and settle seamlessly through the BOJ accounts. So BFix, it was just a kind of halfway house. And we do subscribe to the recommendation that we not intervene too frequently or too heavily unless it's really disorderly. We have enough reserves, so we're not buying aggressively, and we're not seeking to support a particular exchange rate. So we intervene during periods of disorder, and those have become fewer.
Right.
There's more tolerance for flexibility. So there's less of a panic now when the rate moves by, 10, 20 cents, $1. That never used to be the case. So there's growing tolerance for flexibility. There is growing dependence on price discovery across the market. And soon there will be more seamless trading in a more modern environment.
The Bank of Jamaica governor, who has so far conducted the arrangements made by the IMF, as it were. How long is it the program will exist? And if so, why is it that the Bank of Jamaica is not encouraged to continue to finalize that project? That's a question to you and the IMF.
Can I clarify, seek some clarification?
Yes.
You're saying that...
It's not political.
I would have spotted it. No, but you seem to be unclear whether the program of reforms will continue after the IMF exits its financial relationship.
I'm not saying that. I'm just asking whether you have a program, a period for that program. Things have worked so well that the IMF, in fact, has said, congratulate the Bank of Jamaica for supporting the program. I'm asking what period, what is left of the program, and why wouldn't it be that the IMF would encourage the Bank of Jamaica governor to continue for that period to ensure that all that were planned have been effected?
Well,
the question.
The program that we're under, the precautionary standby arrangement, is virtually over.
Oh, it is?
Yes. There were no drawings under this program. The commitments were precautionary. If there had been a problem, a shock, we would have been eligible to draw down funds which IMF pre-committed. That wasn't necessary. We continued a program of reforms, and the performance under this last 2-3 years has been exemplary. We are institutionalizing those reforms on the fiscal side, on the monetary side, on the structural transformations, so that whether or not there is a financial backstop available on demand, we would have put in place sufficient procedures, institutional arrangements to continue these reforms into the future. So I don't think you're referring particularly to any one person as necessary.
No, there can be one person.
Right.
But there's a head.
But there is a set of arrangements which are sustainable And I think this transition is just an example of how well things can work without external support.
So maybe very quickly, 2 quick points on that. Number one, I like it to be called what it is. It's the government of Jamaica's economic reform program. It's not an IMF program. We're just tagging along. These are sacrifices of the Jamaican people. This success is for the Jamaican, it has been on the back of hard sacrifice by the Jamaican people. So the credit goes to the Jamaica, so the Jamaicans. It's not an IMF program, it's an IMF-supported program. And this is one of the reasons why the program has been so successful, because the program has been owned by the Jamaican successive administration. It has been owned by the Jamaican people. That's one. Number two, we like to think about these reform as institutions driving them, not individuals. I mean, individuals are part of the institutions, but you don't want a system, you want a system where there is continuity. And one of the other reasons why the reform program has been so successful in Jamaica, and we haven't seen it in many places around the world, is that you had a change in administration, and the reform program, the broad parameter of the reform program remain unchanged. So there is a so-called policy continuity, which is so critical for investors, because one of the key elements that investors will be looking at is policy certainty. How much you can project yourself 5, 10 years down the road. It's not when you're investing today, it's not a 1 year, 2 year return you're looking at. You're looking at medium to long term. So we believe this is, the institutional platform is there to support any kinds of transition.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands.
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We've heard so much from the Sterling Asset Management investor briefing, certainly the perspectives of the IMF chief representative, along with Charles Ross and the BOJ governor. Charles joins us now to go into a little bit more into something that you said earlier about us having the real challenge of transforming output, which is of course a key part of creating faster economic growth. How close are we to getting that right?
Well, Elon, that is absolutely the multi-million-dollar question. And the reason that we had this theme this evening was really to explore that. Because at the end of the day, economic growth is what's going to lift our standard of living, is what's going to make everybody better off, is what's going to provide the resources for vital social services, infrastructure, etc. And unfortunately, we've made great progress in bringing down our debt and improving the fiscal balance, bringing down inflation, but we haven't been able to significantly increase economic growth. And so that really was the central theme of this evening's discussion.
So, for our viewers watching right now and saying, look, I want to get into exports, because that was essentially the theme of this evening's presentation. Where are the green shoots? Where are the opportunities? Point us.
Well, that's again another multi-million-dollar question. But as John Robinson mentioned, there has been a bit of a real adjustment in the exchange rate over the last few years, and that has provided some incentive for export-led investment. And we are seeing manufacturers in the food processing, agri-processing, agriculture, in that area, we are seeing some interest and some increases in export activity. However, as one of the people who asked questions in the Q&A pointed out, the volatility in the exchange rate, the movements up and down, which has recently become a feature of the foreign exchange market, that poses certain challenges for the exporters, because the 7% movement means the difference between profit and loss. So there are still issues, but I think that with the right signals from macroeconomic policy, the right sort of pricing, if you like, of the exchange rate, that will provide a significant boost to export activity.
Where this problem obtains in other parts of the world, has there been any kind of sector-led intervention to assist exporters? I'm talking now about finance houses like yourself coming up with products that could hopefully hedge against that eventuality for exporters.
Well, I tell you, one of the challenges with hedging is that you need to have the unimpeded, if you like, impact of market forces. And one of the challenges that we have is that we still have interventions by the central bank. So that really it's going to be very difficult to develop the sort of hedging mechanisms when you have periodic interventions by the central bank which have a major impact on movements in the exchange rate. And so you're not able to use the mathematical models which are inherent in these hedging instruments, because you're not really having the full impact of market forces. And you do have these periodic interventions which almost present discontinuities in the data and the data sets. And that therefore makes it very difficult to price the hedging instruments that you'd find in developed markets, or markets where there is less intervention and a more free interplay of market forces. So that's one of the challenges that we have. Really, we need to develop more of a pure market in terms of the foreign exchange market so that institutions can develop these hedging mechanisms, I guess, without taking undue risk.
Much of what you heard earlier when it comes on to the discourse at the 2019 Sterling Asset Management Investor Briefing focused on the Bank of Jamaica's role in inflation targeting and how it has been managing the issue of the interest rates as well as the foreign exchange rate, primarily the Jamaican dollar versus the US dollar. I have with me the Senior Deputy Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, John Robinson. And you acquitted of yourself very well there earlier when the volley of questions came to you about the BOJ's policy. The BOJ's policy, though, is one that you have advertised, is one that you have tried to socialize the Jamaican public and indeed the world. It was picked up by an overseas network as to your marketing campaign around what I like to describe as monetary knowledge. How has the campaign been going and what's the reaction been like?
Well, it has been phenomenal. The coverage we have got, I've never seen any central bank get that kind of coverage on advertising their mandates. What we've set out to do is to make Jamaica, firstly Jamaica, aware of what our mandate is. What do we care about? What do we want to do for them? And we want them to know about inflation. We want them to know that we are focused on keeping inflation low and stable, and that we are organizing ourselves to maintain that for a long time to come. A lot of people, even the word inflation may be new to them. So it has been a big campaign to teach people what inflation is, why they should care about it, how we go about controlling it, and what it will do for their way of life. We've used music, and that has taken off. We've used drama. We've done seminars. We're doing every possible outlet to get the message across. Soon you'll see billboards. You'll see video. You'll see more. But we want everybody to be aware of what BOJ does, what it cares about, and what it means for them.
And as people become aware of that, what's the call to action then? They now know what do they do as a result of having that knowledge?
Once they understand that inflation, their experience with prices going forward is something they can predict. Then it leads into how they negotiate wages, what they think of as being a good price for a future product, and it allows them to plan their lives a lot better. So it's about predictable prices, and which are low enough not to hurt them in their way of standard of living.
We consider our next guest an honorary Jamaican. He's the IMF's country representative, Dr. Constant Lonken Nguana. Welcome. And I say that to you because you have been all over talking about this economic program that's in tandem with the Jamaican government. And it's a partnership that has clearly worked well. Your short review of where we are, of course, we're in the evening of the agreement, but how has it turned out?
I'm happy to be associated with such a successful turnaround. I think it's fair to say that the Jamaicans have really turned the economy around, and you can look across the board what macroeconomists tend to look at in terms of indicator of success. Look at macroeconomic stability being entrenched, public debt going from 147% in 2013 to now about 95%. Amazing. And this is without handout from anyone. This is really the Jamaicans taking the decision to put their fiscal house in order. So a lot of policy commitment from successive administration. So policy continuity is something that is highly valued by investors and by consumers. A lot of maturity in the economy. What we would like to see some more, and that's what the government and the people of Jamaica are working on, to get some more growth. But we should not also dismiss the fact that the Jamaican economy has grown for 16 consecutive quarters, which is not something that you've seen a lot in the past. And also over the past quarters, you will have seen grow around 2%, which is almost unprecedented in Jamaica. So, there is a lot of positive, a lot more to do, especially on the growth side. And we're very upbeat about what we see on the ground.
You've just seen some truly thought-provoking insight, analyses, and a commentary from the 2019 Sterling Asset Management Investor Briefing. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elon Parkinson for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a Season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killings. No more.
The perfect balance of mind, body, and spirit is at the center of what Serendipity Holistic Resort is all about. And on this episode of Chill Spot, we'll get to enjoy the perfect blend of tranquility and wellness as we get to know Regina Beavers McCollum, the General Manager of Spartan Health Club. So don't go anywhere, lots of fun and adventure coming your way. Hi, Regina.
Hey, Candy. How are you?
Hi, good to see you.
Same here. This is actually my husband, Rashid.
Hi, Rashid. Nice to meet you. So, what are we going to be doing today?
Wow, when you get to somewhere like this, you feel like doing nothing, but we have a lot in store. There's a petting zoo. There's
like with animals?
Yeah, man, with animals that you have to touch and cuddle and feed. There's a river as well that we're going to be swimming in. There's some food being prepared right now. I really come here and chill, but I like that there's a variety, you know?
Well, so far just walking down here, this property is exquisite.
I agree.
So I'd really like to tour this property and see what it's all about.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, so what I wanted to talk to you about was your professional side. So
serious business.
Exactly. Your role at Spartan as general manager. What is a typical day like for you?
Wow. Well, every day definitely varies. As general manager, I wear so many hats.
Right.
Yeah, I'm responsible for the social media pages, the website pages, and then you go into the staff area. We have different criteria. Personal trainers, which are contracted, and then our ancillary staff that we have, and our front desk staff. It's a lot of people to manage. Exactly. That's challenging, but just being there and making sure that we put emphasis on teamwork. It's not too difficult because everybody's doing their part.
So is it a typical 9 to 5? What are your hours like?
On paper, it's a 9 to 5. However, I sometimes come in at 6 a.m. in the morning to meet and greet with some of the members then, or I might stay a little later till 10 p.m. to meet those members. Sometimes I'm off of location doing interviews or
like today.
Yeah, like today, or setting up booths at like wellness expos, things like that. So it just depends. Every day I find has been different.
I know you mentioned, working with so many different people can be a challenge, but what other challenges do you face in your day-to-day?
Running a gym, people might think it's something simple. It's a gym, workout. It's very important that the members, from they walk into the front door, have the ultimate exercise experience. And to ensure that happens, our front desk staff has to be well equipped with not just the proper teaching, but the resources. Also, it's to diversify yourself and to tap into different markets and people. You have to try and be as creative as possible to connect with as many people as possible. I always say invest in yourself because health is wealth.
Well, I think we're definitely investing here today.
I agree. This is a good investment.
Your professional journey did not begin at Spartan, so talk to us about that.
What's interesting is that I won the Miss Jamaica Rolettes 2001 when I was 17. That's when I was introduced. 2001, Candy, I'm a big woman now. many years ago. But I was introduced to Spartan at that time, so I've been a member since then. So it's funny how things went full circle. After winning the title, the prestigious crown, I traveled the world. I met Nelson Mandela, kings, queens, princes, the Caribbean, South Africa. I just really got to experience life.
So how did you transition from doing Miss Jamaica to now being in corporate and running the gym?
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. I didn't go straight into corporate life. I started in media. I actually have my degree in film and video. Very fascinated by production. Yeah, man. When I came back, instead of being behind the scenes, they put me in front of the camera. So I was on CBM at Sunrise for years. I produced and presented for them. Then I switched over into radio with Fame 95 FM. Did a lot of hosting and emceeing and got a little tired of it. And I have a family growing, wanting to, I guess, grow. Yeah, I felt like I had reached the point of understanding what this is about, and I needed another step further. So I actually thought for many nights, what am I going to do next? What is my passion? What is my drive? And I realized that through it all, it's been people. I'm a people person, And it turned out that Mr. James, wanted someone to help him out, and it kind of connected.
Mr. James is at Spartan.
Mr. James is the owner of Spartan Health Club. So I had to go in for an interview and, look through my qualifications, and it was a perfect match, honestly. I enjoy myself so much there because I get to connect with people every day.
Coming up.
Challenges are opportunities. When something knocks you down, when you get to an obstacle, it really is giving you that opportunity to learn and to grow. If it's too easy, something is wrong. You need those challenges to get you to your optimum level.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art, I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
What drives you to be a successful young professional?
Wow, I don't think I'm not young. I'm kidding. I think my family, my son, I had him at an early age. I was only 21 when he was born. And winning that Miss Jamaica title at 17, I felt like I was fast-tracked into growing up.
Right.
And he is the future of me. And I have to ensure that he has the right life and the right future and the right possibilities. So that pushes me on a daily basis. Because sometimes I don't feel like doing nothing, you know. Sometimes I just want to come up here and waste a day or two, but he's definitely my motivation.
And Spartan isn't the only thing that you do. You also have that camp, that's expressions through creativity.
Yes, you're right. You
Tell us
got it.
about
It's the ETC, the acronym is Expression Through Creativity, and it's all about creating expression through a creative outlet through children, and we found that it actually works best at risk youth. We introduce them to different outlets to express themselves. It's been very successful so far. I've seen girls who don't speak at all bloom and blossom. And
so when you say outlets, like what kind of outlets? Like
well,
drawing,
dance, yes, dance, culinary arts, music, yeah, all kind of expression. And we also incorporate a psychological aspect. It works. It was.
So there is a science behind it as well.
There's a science behind the madness.
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
it's beautiful.
Do you have any personal or professional goals for the future?
Absolutely. I mentioned earlier that I have a degree in film and video, and I've been working on writing some scripts, and I want to produce, direct, and possibly act in some kind of script writing that I've done, or some scripts.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I need to.
Especially since that's what your training is in.
Exactly, and I have a strong passion for it. Yeah. And I realized it wasn't production from a TV perspective.
Right.
It was filmed, you know?
Maybe you just needed a little time to figure that out.
Exactly, and I'm ready, so that's coming. Look out.
How would you describe yourself as a leader though?
My husband says that I have a fiery spirit. So I'm going to use that to possibly say that I don't think there are any boundaries that we have. We only create our boundaries, you know? There really is endless possibilities. It's just what you're going to be prepared to put into it to make it work. There's nothing that's impossible, you know? I can use that corny line, I am possible. The word says so itself.
Do you have a mentor?
I would say my mother would be my mentor. She went through so much. I've watched her grow into this beautiful, strong woman. My parents got divorced when I was about 3 or 4, so she raised 3 kids on her own here in Jamaica, because my parents got married in the States and we moved here. So she's been just amazing with advice, support. I mean, I didn't feel like I was alone when I had my son. You know, she was just always there, even when I never want her to be. You know that way? But she's a blessing. I love her so much.
And is there one tip that you can say or give to other young professionals who aspire to be successful like yourself?
Yeah, man. Challenges are opportunities. When something knocks you down, when you get to an obstacle, it really is giving you that opportunity to learn and to grow. Right. So welcome a challenge. That is what's going to put you to the highest place. If it's too easy, something is wrong. Right. You need those challenges to get you to your optimum level. That's what I would say.
All right, so what's next on our property tour? What are we going to be doing?
I think we should go for a swim. How about that?
Is the water cold?
It's very cold. And you're going to see me cry a little.
You're
but
gonna
enough.
chicken out.
Yeah,
You
I
are
will.
gonna chicken
I'll get brave though.
Coming up, how do you do this blended family thing? Like, is that easy for you to do?
All right, the way I look at it is that my child has one more person to love him. I think that when you have kids, you will realize that they are the reason, they are the point of your reference.
Right.
And how does this affect your child? You can't think of yourself anymore.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the personal side of you. I know you have a son. Tell us about him.
Giomar Johan Mitchell. He's 10. He's my life, my proudest moment, my joy. Grade 5 now.
Grade 5?
Yeah, man, he takes up everything out of me, you know?
How do you balance being a mommy with everything that you have going on at work?
It's tough, but I have a great support system. My mom is involved, his stepmom and his father is involved, his stepdad is involved.
Wow.
I have a lot of people in the village, you know, to take care of the child. So it works, and he accompanies me to things and places. So he'll come to work maybe after school, and he's very active too in football and music. So he has his own things to do as well.
speaking of children, you as a child, how were you raised?
Wow, I was a tomboy.
That's hard for me to believe.
No, seriously, I grew up with all brothers and all cousins that were males.
Okay.
So I had to be. If I wanted to have any fun in life, nobody was going to play Barbie with me. I had to learn how to climb trees, and we used to ride bicycles, just have a great time as kids. When I think of my childhood, I have fond memories. I went to Queen's Prep and then Hopefield Prep and then ended up at Andrews High, and my parents... Yeah, it's a good school. Yeah, man. Went to Andrews, ended up at Hillel. But remember, I mentioned earlier, my parents are divorced. So when I was about 13 or 14, I attempted to live with my dad. So I moved out of the country. So a year later, I came back, and that's why I ended up at Hillel Academy, which was a fantastic school as well.
So you recently got married. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Talk to us about the wedding. What was it like?
The wedding was in my mother's backyard. It was just sweet, intimate, just the closest friends and family. Right. It was more like a dinner and ceremony kind of vibe. I loved it because we focused a lot on that ceremony and being with our family and friends and this wedding, you know. Rashid's mom, Auntie Jan, said it the best. She said, sometimes people forget that they're planning a ceremony and not a wedding, you know. We focus too much on the glamour, which can be stressful, and I mean, to each his own. Yeah, to each his own, definitely. But I don't really have too much energy for glitz and glamour.
Was there anything about your partner in specific that made you know that yes, he's the one?
It is tough, you know, because I want to say there are so many things, because when you realize that somebody is going to be that partner for the rest of your life, it's a compilation of expectations and ideas and morals and values and everything that you have. So it's hard to pick one moment. It's almost as if we were on a journey together and we realized that we wanted the same journey. And in the earlier days, we were on the beach, we went on a little date, and we were lying in the sun and stuff, and he grabbed a stone, and I just felt it in my hand. I was like, what's this? And he said, it's a symbol of our journey, of our love. It's a rock, it's strength. Keep it. And I kept it.
To this day?
Well, on our wedding day, we buried it in my mother's backyard.
Oh.
He's like, let's set it free. He's sweet like that. Yeah, he's very sweet and and mystical and spiritual, and yeah, he's a great partner. I love him so much.
I know you mentioned that your son, he's very good with his stepmom. Yes. How do you do this blended family thing? Like, is that easy for you to do?
All right, the way I look at it is that my child has one more person to love him, one more person to care for him, one more person to help me. I think that when you have kids, you'll realize that they are the point of your reference. And how does this affect your child? You can't think of yourself anymore. Luckily, all of us see it like that, and we choose to embrace our family together and the challenges with our family together as a team, and positively and with love. And I swear to you, Tammy and I talk more than me and Wayne. We are programming a school book and who have the shoes, and she's just a beautiful person. I tell Wayne all the time, like, you know, if it was anybody, I'm glad it's her. You know, it's beautiful.
I love that you guys have gotten it right. You know?
Yeah, it feels right. It feels right.
I mean, Regina, I must say you really come off as a very confident young woman. Did your experience in Miss Jamaica have anything to do with that?
I would say that the Miss Jamaica World Pageant is something that every young lady should go through, because it does give you skills. It puts you in situations and gives you that experience to handle yourself better.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not about winning. This is what I always tell young girls when they ask me something similar, that you don't want to win, actually. Winning's the hard part. You want to get that experience. And it definitely, I mean, we went through so much training, you know. It changed your life, right?
Absolutely, very helpful.
Yeah, very helpful to give you those skills needed just to polish you off to get ready for the world.
How did it really impact you winning?
I had just turned 17, so it forced me to grow up.
Right.
Immediately, I had the weight of Jamaica on my shoulders. I had to realized that everything I did was going to be representative of my country, which is a great honor, you know, and a privilege, but it comes with responsibility. Right. So I feel like it allowed me to mature, and to mature with support and grace. Right. You know, I wouldn't say I regret it for the world, you know. It's made me who I am.
Is there any one thing you can identify that you can say people would never guess about you?
I'm not really into going out to parties. Okay. I like chill spots. No, it's true.
Nice plug, Regina.
I do. It's shameless. I like family, friends, and interacting with people in an environment that's peaceful. Right. I go out because I feel like it's almost a part of how you socialize in Jamaica, or even a part of your job. You know, but whenever I can, I'm not going to be picking to go to the club.
Right, exactly.
You won't see me there. Yeah, maybe pepper seed on a Wednesday because of old school.
Maybe that one place.
Yeah, that's about it.
I don't know about you, Regina, but my belly's rumbling.
Oh yes, food time. And I know Raw is hungry too.
Some food.
Let's do it.
Where's the restaurant?
It's down this way now.
Well, Regina, thank you so much for sharing your chill spot with us today. I really enjoyed, I think, being at peace and being up here and just enjoying this kind of atmosphere. So thank you very much. I had fun getting to know former Miss Jamaica and newly married Regina Beavers McCollum. And after spending the day at Serendipity Holistic Resort, I'm feeling relaxed, recharged, and ready to take on whatever comes next. So until next Friday, I'm Candy for Chill Spot. Bye!
Are we going to say we're hungry now? No, or we're pretending?
No, you don't worry. You don't worry. You'll make it very clear.
All right.
You want a carrot?
Okay, he's moving. Okay, he's moving. Let's put it back here. I'm not afraid.
It's really got to experience your life. And by the time I was about 19 or 20, I felt as if the bug's getting you.
Yeah, he came in my armpit. I think he's in my shirt. The bug was in my armpit. That's going to be a blooper. I just know it.
It's in my armpit.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
Byron Lee introduced Jamaica Carnival in 1990. The road march involved a parade of costume sections reveling through the streets of Kingston. According to the New York Times, the economic windfall of Carnival ranges somewhere from 27 million to the hundreds of millions. But can Jamaica stand to make millions from the betting industry? The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo. Julian Lee is the president of Jamaica Carnival and daughter of Carnival stalwart Byron Lee. He is best known as the founder and band leader of the Dragonaires, which played a crucial role in bringing Caribbean music to the world.
Our founder of Jamaica Carnival, Byron Lee, had participated in carnivals throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world for many, many years. He was first exposed to it in the 60s. And he always had a desire to see this genre of music being played in Jamaica. He really fell in love with it because of the brass section and the bass in it. And it just kept pulling him further and further into that format of music. Early 1989, I think timing was right. He felt the timing was right, and the momentum was there, and Byron Lee sat there and started to dream up Carnival in Jamaica. He formulated a plan to introduce Carnival to his homeland, Jamaica, and that was how we formed Jamaica Carnival Limited in 1989.
Tell them this is our time.
Throughout the years, as Jamaica Carnival grew and the facets expanded, I guess more responsibility was placed on the 4 core people that ran it, which was my father, my mother, myself, and my sister. This had never been done before in Jamaica, where a production of this level was supported by corporate Jamaica on the magnitude that it was, because of Byron and the position that he held in the various industries that he worked in, because of his international notoriety, because of his success in the industry that he was in locally. He was able to get support and the confidence of corporate Jamaica to underwrite this massive production, as well as he also put his funding up equal to what they were doing. I'll never forget, on Carnival Sunday, the very first year, we were all spinning in circles, not knowing what to expect. Production started at Immaculate on Constant Spring Road, all the trucks lined up, all the costume revelers came out. The excitement was there, it was beautiful. And then when we went down to the bottom of Constant Spring Road by Mayor Brown's Corner, and Dad, I was up on the truck with him at that point, and he looked up the road and he saw the people following, and he looked down the road and he saw the people waiting. He held his head down and my father cried. He was so moved that Jamaica opened their arms and embraced something that he wanted to share with them. Byron Lee's vision, if you understood what he was trying to bring to Jamaica, you will realize that that was just part of the fulfillment of what he wanted to see. We modeled Jamaica Carnival off of the grandfather of all carnivals, which was Trinidad Carnival. And in Trinidad, you have a national carnival committee that is partially influenced by government, as well as various people that have interest in this boom in the economy during this period of time. Dad wanted to introduce the genre and the celebrations to Jamaica, and then in the future, our role as Jamaica Carnival was to really step back and be a carnival committee that governed guidelines, making sure there was proper production, insurance, safety precautions, exposure, that it would just not be haphazardly various different organizations having their different parties. It was fulfilling Byron Lee's vision that Carnival would eventually reach a stage where Trinidad Carnival was, with many brands operating in the season with their various events, which would generate revenue, income, interest, excitement, tourism, all the different areas that he was interested in seeing grow in Jamaica. So we're a little disappointed because we had expected at this stage that for there to be 25 years later, 5, 6, 7, 8 brands operating during the carnival season, but we do think that the 2008 state of the world economy had a lot to do with that, as well as the momentum slowed a bit when he passed away, because he was the pioneer and godfather and loved by the nation. $2.5 million people, and a very small percentage partake. Actually, it's shrinking. The participation is shrinking, but we do believe that the interest is there. In 1993, we put 4,000, Jamaica Carnival put 4,000 costume revelers on the road, singly. Now you're at 2,000. The price to partake is extremely exorbitant, so what you're doing is it's almost coming full circle, where it's becoming an exclusive event for those that can afford it, instead of what Byron Lee's vision was, an inclusive event where all walks of life can partake. So we do believe that there is room for many more brands competing.
It's going to grow organically. I am promising you this, and you can mark my words. In 3 years, we're going to be seeing several thousand tourists coming in for soca. And that cannot be stopped.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killings. No more.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV. Jamaican Carnival has paved the way for complementary industries to thrive. Soca parties have grown in popularity, and Carnival packaging services are now available for those unwilling to do it alone.
Carnival by Candy is a carnival concierge service. So what I do is I package flight, accommodation, transportation, costume, and party tickets for various carnivals throughout the region. Basically to just create a seamless carnival experience for people. I'm a carnival tete, so I love going to carnival. So for years I've been going to Trinidad Carnival. And for some reason, Trinidad has a very low internet presence. So when others wanted to go, they could not Google the information or figure out how to get there. So every year that I'd go, people would ask me to help them to go the following year. By the third year that I was doing this, I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna start charging people for the information. So that's basically how I got started. My business model is basically packaging the 5 services and selling them like that. So we have different levels for each carnival. So we have like an economy package and then like a standard package and a premium package that you can buy into for each carnival. And they move up in price as you move up with the package. Trinidad is of course the most expensive carnival that there is to go to. I would say for Trinidad, budget between $3,000 and $8,000 depending on the kind of hotel you want to stay at, things like that. But each package has your flight, costume, accommodation, transportation, and party tickets. So that's the budget for the packages. For Jamaica, I would say you can get a package for about $2,000 US. That's the cheapest. It's been going really well. The first year that I did it, I got about 50 people going to Trinidad Carnival. And then when I actually started doing it as a business for profit, I got about 270 people going to Trinidad for Carnival. And it's only this year, 2015, that I've expanded to doing other carnivals like Jamaica, Cayman, and Barbados. Jamaica Carnival, I got just over 100 people coming into Jamaica for Carnival. I think what makes my service unique, apart from customer service, of course, which we pride ourselves on, is the fact that I make it so easy for you. In order to get party tickets in Trinidad, you have to know somebody on a committee. It's not like Jamaica where you can just stop at the gas station and pick up a ticket and go to the event. In Trinidad, the events are very exclusive, so you'd have to know somebody that's on a committee to get a ticket. I'm on every committee for every event in Trinidad. That's the first thing. Also, I book accommodation very early, so I reserve a set of rooms from various hotels so that people can book their accommodation securely through me. For costumes, of course, I get an allotment from the bands in Trinidad, and then I sell those to my group. So I make it a lot easier for you. People don't know how to get a costume. People don't know where to go to get the party tickets, and I'm basically a one-stop shop for everything. I would say Jamaica Carnival especially is expanding. 5 years ago, we couldn't say that we had like a week of events leading up to the carnival the way that the Trinis had a week of events. This year was, of course, the biggest year. All the events had record-breaking turnouts. Well, for those who want to participate in the carnival and find the costumes to be a little bit too expensive, there are t-shirt options, especially for Jamaica Carnival. So you can buy a t-shirt option, you can cut up a t-shirt, that kind of thing, and those are more inexpensive than a costume with the feathers and beads, etc. So there are options for people. It's not just like a $400 costume for everybody. One of the biggest misconceptions of Carnival is that it is seasonal. Carnival is not seasonal because there's always a carnival going on, whether it be Trinidad, Jamaica, Cayman, Miami, Barbados. Those are carnivals that happen, well, at different points throughout the year, which is why I can have a service like this that goes on throughout the year and not just caters to one carnival. So a lot of people would say to me, how are you making money from this if carnival only happens once a year? It only happens once a year in Jamaica, but it happens once a year in Trinidad and Cayman, Miami, and all the other places throughout the world. I'm hoping to get to a point where I'm offering carnivals in Notting Hill and all throughout the Americas. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Marlon Campbell has been on the party promotion scene since 2006 and last year decided to venture into carnival parties with Glow.
Glow, well, we dubbed it the all-white electronic drink inclusive party. Now, well, it's a soca party, definitely. You might get a toops or something else, but it's mainly soca. It's probably 95% soca, all right? The idea is, because Glow, the whole concept of Glow has been around. Alison Hines and David Rudder have a song, I think it was in 2000, you know, come here with the glow, everybody, you know. White we're wearing tonight, and it's all about putting on that all white, and under those black lights, it should really look good. And we decided to make it drink inclusive, so it's, you know, you don't have to worry about your money, just pay a one fee, come in, have off, and we get the very best in soca, in our humble opinions. I got my start at the UWI. I was carnival chair back in 02 to 03, and then I was in charge of entertainment on a whole 03 to 04, so UWI Carnival and all the various events. That's where I kind of cut my teeth as such in terms of organizing events and you know, making the necessary links and all. Well, this is actually our second official year being involved. We were involved last year. Glow came out last year. And we saw the need on Carnival Saturday for a mass event, because there are events, you know, in terms of there are events who are more on the higher price scale. But we wanted something that catered to the college students and to some of that lower B, upper C market, just something more mass, you know, and we decided to fill that need as it is, because I do foresee a huge explosion of carnival and soca in Jamaica, and as such, I thought it required some good promoters, some persons who actually care about the music, putting together an event for that night to fill that gap. I think has happened, the big change has that you have many independent promoters getting into it. You have a Sun Nation, for example, who has brought some of the Trini flavor here. And what has happened is that social media has contributed to persons actually looking at Carnival. And you can see Carnival in Trinidad and in St. Vincent and so forth. And the friendships that have been forged via our music, you know, our DJs going over there and doing some collabs, there are people coming over here and doing some collabs. That has helped. And then the back and forth. And yeah, big ups to Candy. Candy is contributing in that she's, for the first timers or the persons who don't want the hassle, you know, she puts together a ready-made package for you and you go over there. So you don't have to worry about nothing from getting on plane to getting to your parties. It's going to grow organically. I am promising you this, and you can mark my words. In 3 years, we're going to be seeing several thousand tourists coming in for soca. And that cannot be stopped.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Over the years, carnival makeup has become a big trend, with consumers spending the extra thousands of dollars to glamorize for the road. Kimberly Patterson is a professional makeup artist who talks to us about Carnival Day makeup.
How I started in makeup was around Carnival season in 2010. The way I started, it wasn't planned at all. I kind of just fell into it. That year, I had friends asking me, like a lot of friends asking me if I could do their makeup for Carnival. And I was like, well, I'm not a makeup artist, so I can't really do your makeup. They're like, no man, don't worry, I've seen your work, I've seen what you've done on yourself and your friends, and I trust you, so we'll bring our own stuff, you just apply it. and I just gathered a little team, my sister, my best friends, and we just, based on what we implemented, the way how it worked, I figured, okay, well, if I keep doing this each year, maybe I get bigger. And I really liked it that day. It was a smooth flow and everything, and it just took off from there. I decided to get certified, and then from that, networking began, and this is where I am today. Like in 2010, I started off having 5 to 7 clients. Today, I'm now working on over 45 clients for that morning. So it's a very big production. I have a very big team for that day, and routine is like an assembly line, and very smooth and productive. For carnival makeup, I would say people generally charge from 35 US to 70 in Jamaica. Startup is quite a bit, but then at the same time you have a high turnover rate. So each year you do have products left over from last year that you could add on to whatever your inventory is for this year and keep building. You do have to stock up leading up to Carnival Day, so you would have to have your team first of all, who you would have to pay. Then you would have your lashes, your rhinestones, foundations, etc., etc. Each year, you cannot just think of the day itself, you have to think of upcoming years after that. So how would you expand? First, you need a good team who you know you could call back each year, so that each time you have more and more clients, you could just keep adding on to that team. Your work has to be good, each person has to be good. So you have to, like, the trials with the team, etc. to, you know. Then you need to capture every footage you can. Footage, images, etc., so you could put them on social media so that other persons could see here and abroad, because you know you do have tourists and visitors coming for that specific day. Your work has to speak for itself. As well as the products you use, you have to have quality makeup that would last, because if that's not so, and then you have makeup falling off a client's face during the jump, then they won't be coming back, right? I approach Carnival Day, Carnival makeup from a business perspective as well. You have to have it flowing smoothly. So first you walk in, the client walks in and she is introduced to the team, and she's offered drinks, snacks or whatever. Then from there you would have the person sit and wait to be called for foundation. So you have I have a little team working on foundation. That's about 3 to 4 girls. Then from there, she will go on to eyes details. So the eyes, rhinestones, lashes. And then from there, she would go on to lips and other details that would be necessary to complete the makeup. And then that's it. We try to keep each person there through that line 15 minutes max and out. You would have to have people booking from the previous year. So from end of November to all the way up to Carnival, you have people calling. So one of the biggest challenges, you have to keep thinking of ways to take those people instead of having to turn them down every year. So as I said, finding upcoming makeup artists who aren't doing their own thing, that's kind of a challenge. And you also want to have your work speak for itself on Carnival Day, so you can't have anybody on the team bringing it down. That's basically the challenge for me.
And that's it for Cameo this week. We've taken a glimpse into Jamaican Carnival and its existing opportunities, successes and challenges. I'm Amita Prasad Webb. Until next time.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7 or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process? Because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.